My parents had gone to a 3-day work convention to states away, leaving me, a 17-year-old Clara, with a house that felt too big and too quiet at night. They stocked the fridge, left me a stack of takeout menus, and reminded me that Buster, our huge German Shepherd, was better than any alarm system. Buster was supposed to make me feel safe, but that feeling vanished the seconds the late-night news report came on. A known serial intruder, nicknamed the Quiet Entry Killer, is believed to be active in this county. He targets isolated suburban homes. Entry method unknown. Residents are urged to stay alert. He slipped into houses so silently that victims only noticed him too late. No forced doors, no shattered glass, no footprints. He just came in silence. After hearing that, I went through the house 3 separate times, checking every lock twice. Deadbolts clicked, windows rattled as I confirmed they were shut. Curtains drawn, lights off upstairs. Every window was secured except the tiny laundry room window, the one high above the washer. Barely large enough to shove a backpack through, had a broken latch. I pushed on it, tried to jam it closed, even wedged a screwdriver into the warped frame, but the lock was completely stripped. The glass wiggled when I pressed on it, but eventually I convinced myself it wasn't a real risk. Nobody could squeeze through it without knocking over half the room. Besides, I locked the heavy steel utility door leading into the hallway. That was enough, I told myself. Upstairs, Buster crawled under my bed like he always did. His slow breathing and the jingle of his collar were familiar and grounding. It was the only reason I fell asleep at all. Around after 2 a.m., I snapped awake to a sound outside my window. Not banging, not breaking, just a soft, rhythmic tap, tap. At first I thought it was tree branches. Maybe an animal. I was too scared to sit up, so I did what I always did when I got spooked. I dangled my hand off the side of the bed. Buster was there immediately, his warm head pressed into my palm. He licked my fingers, heavy and wet and comforting. I whispered, "Good boy," and the tension drained out of me. I drifted back to sleep. The tapping woke me again maybe 20 minutes later. It was louder now and more deliberate. My skin prickled. That sound wasn't random. It felt intentional. But again, I reached down. Buster's tongue slid over my wrist, thicker and wetter than before. The scrape of his teeth felt strange, sharper than normal. But the weight of him leaning into my hand soothed me instantly. The tapping stopped again. Sleep pulled me under like a dark tide. The third time I woke, there was no tapping, only stillness. A thick, unnatural silence that felt wrong. Then I heard a soft, distant drip of something, coming from the end of the hallway, from the laundry room door. The same door I had locked hours earlier. This time, terror didn't let me reach down for Buster. Something about those earlier licks replayed in my mind, like the roughness, the strange moisture, the way it had almost stung when his tongue scraped my skin. I forced myself out of bed. The hallway felt colder than before. Every shadow seemed deeper. The dripping sound guided me like a rope around the neck. When I reached the utility door, my hand trembled on the knob. It was still locked, but something about the sound on the other side is slow, steady and wet. My breath shook as I unlatched the door and nudged it open. I flicked the light on. The world fell out from under me. Buster was hung from the copper pipes near the ceiling, suspended by a taut wire looped around his neck. His throat was expertly, precisely slit from jaw to shoulder. Blood dripped in slow, steady beads into a plastic laundry basket below. He had been dead for a long time, which meant the licks I felt earlier were not his. A cold draft brushed my cheek. I turned toward it slowly, mechanically, like I was moving underwater. The tiny laundry window, the one with the broken latch, wasn't just open. It was pushed all the way up, wide enough for someone thin, someone patient, someone practiced to pass through on. Above the sink, smeared across the glass in dark, glistening blood, were words dragged by a human finger. I told you, humans can tap too. And as I stood frozen, unable to breathe, something in the corner of the room shifted, just slightly, like a shadow peeling itself away from the wall. Then I noticed the window wasn't the only way in. It was just the one I had noticed.